Welcome to Jazz After Dark, everybody. How you doing? Did you hear how I said that? Jazz After Dark. Hope you got a drink. Joining me here in your speakeasy or wherever it is that you're joining us from. I'm just happy that you're watching. We still have one more to go from Flaviar here. The last one from last week is just the Texas Pot Still Bourbon. Balcones is the brand there. But tonight, the missus made me a very special old fashioned with Buffalo Trace, just how I like it. A little orange peel in there. Ooh, smelling so good. A little Whistle Pig maple syrup. And I learned a trick while I was out of town. The cherry that you put in there, muddle it up. All right, so when you get to the bottom, you get the chunks of that cherry. You're welcome. Speaking of things to be scared of, no, I'm just kidding. There's always something to be scared of in the market. This is a great example. We got these banks failing. We got a war going on. We got this thing with the energy independence and how we're not like drilling here and we're just working on batteries, but yet the battery stuff comes from overseas. And there's always something. A lot of people talk about credit risk in the stock market there. And of course, that becoming potentially something at some point. We could debate that another time. But there's always something to be fearful of. And I think if you approach that with that mindset, you know that, okay, the fear should be an opportunity. And I've got something here. Okay, so I want to share this with you here. Look at this screen. This is, I think, an incredible visual representation. We took this entire stock market all the way back to 1988. And we said, okay, let's put the recessions in the background there. I don't know if you could see the background, but their recessions are shaded in gray. Sometimes it doesn't come through for some reason. And we said, okay, let's just see the performance of the market first. That was the first thing I was going to show you. And I said, well, let's back up and let's indicate some of the time frames on there using AI. Thankfully, we were able to do that really quickly. And so we can look at the biggest concerns in the market or a particular sector or commodity or whatever at any point in history. Imagine all these concerns. How far back do you go if you're watching here, right? Soviet Union on TV, big deal there, right? We just came out of a recession there. The irrational exuberance speech for all of you economics majors out there. If you've taken economics in class, you learn about Alan Greenspan and what that means. If I skip a little bit of this, we move forward. We've got Hurricane Katrina and Rita. All right, it was a temporary blip on the radar there. We've got Lehman Brothers bank failure right here. Oh my gosh. Stock market bottoming just a few months later. We've got the Gulf oil spill. I remember this one actually vividly here from being in Florida. We've got our first credit rating downgrade. Actually, remember this. This came after, it was actually about a year after the flash crash. I wouldn't have thought it was a year away, but kind of a lot of chaos going on in here that I didn't even put the flash crash on there, but obviously something very interesting if you study this stuff. Annex of Crimea, we've got the Fed raising rates for the first time back in 2015. Brexit, oh my gosh, that was something there. We had the government shutdown, the longest one that we've seen. We had the actual low in the stock market marked by the biggest single day loss ever in the market's history. But when you zoom out, I mean, it doesn't look so scary, does it? It's kind of weird. And if you think about you investing over a generation, this is why I only went back this far, that's a generation. We got COVID in there. COVID is literally a blip on the screen. Now, I would argue that COVID was, bigger than a financial crisis. It was certainly shorter in terms of market performance, but we've never shut the whole economy down. Questions that we just didn't know how to answer. You imagine, go back and think about that now. At the time, you're like, all right, we'll work this out. That's just incredible to me. So we always have something to fear. There will be something else. I guarantee you at some point in my lifetime, we will stare at one of these charts here and we will together be able to identify the time that we thought AI was going to take us down. Maybe not, because it took over or whatever it is, but maybe AI causes some big meltdown in the stock market. Maybe AI shuts down the power grid. I don't know, it's not even on that at the moment, but maybe something that somebody doesn't know about yet takes over. And then we all go, oh no, and run away and think that that's the end of the world. Has there been an end of the world in any of that? I don't see one. I've seen recessions. I've seen severe pullbacks there. I've seen quick pullbacks that were severe that quickly recovered. Hello, COVID. And so you can always fear something. And I want you to, just before I move on, because I got one more slide to show you, you can always find fear if you look for it. Like it or not, you're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're watching this, and you've chosen to stop. And right now, the algorithm is going, you're still watching. They must find this interesting. Let's listen to the key words that come out of his mouth and see if we can't direct more stuff either by us here at Jazz or other people that are sharing the same thing. I've said recession a number of times. I've said fear a number of times. I just mentioned a bunch of headlines that were pretty bearish there. So watch just to see if the videos that pop up now have to do with recession, fear, major market meltdowns, things like that. There's another key word for you. The point being, if you can't take a drink, maybe 10, and sit back and shake it off, you're going to make mistakes. And so I wanted to highlight that for you as well. If you, there it is. If you were over a generation, not a generation, but a long lifespan, it's 20-year lifespan here for investing. If you were to just buy and hold during this 20 years, you'd annualize 9.79% returns. Very, very close to the all-time annualized return of the S&P. Isn't that fascinating? 9.91 is the answer. If you would have held, of course, you're cooking along, right? If you moved to cash during the financial crisis and sat there for a year, no one would have blamed you. It's easy to say now, I'm telling you, if you lived through that, no one in their right mind would have said, that was stupid. Right? We literally thought the banking system was over. That was it. That was the closest to the end financially for the U.S. as we've come since. And that doesn't even count. 1987. I don't think that even counts against this because that was a blip. There was no real bank failures. There was no catastrophe. That was simply a stock and bond market panic, I guess. But if you did that, your annualized returns are 6.8. Well, that's not bad, but it's almost 3% less per year. Only waiting 1 year. That's the impact that it had on your generational or long-term 20-year time horizon. You can't fight with that right now. I see you guys post all the time. It's fine, Dustin, you're doing your thing, but I'm not paying an advisor 0.5% to grow my account and help me with all my other planning and anything that touches my money. I guarantee you that if you're up for it, we will have earned that 0.5% either in the stock market or we will have earned it by stopping you from making silly financial decisions. Keith, I'm talking to you. We will have stopped you from getting into troubles there, helped you with taxes and things that will earn that 0.5%. But meanwhile, you're over here saying, oh my God, doom and gloom, I'm going to get out. I can't help you there. I can't make that difference up. It is extremely difficult. If you moved to cash during the financial crisis there and you still are holding cash, that's a long shot. I know about a half dozen people that did that and still are sitting there. I feel bad, but I know them and they're doing that. It's not me. You would actually have a negative total return. This is a little unfair, but it was fun to put in there. So the point that I was trying to make was even just these moments of staying in cash, they don't just have that impact. They have an impact on your total lifetime returns. I bring this up because I actually just shared these 2 slides with clients in our class. We call it Wine and Wealth. And we go over a whole bunch of data. I went through all kinds of different scenarios, showing them the data, not my opinions, so we could see there's going to be moments where you're going to have to grin and bear it. Like, how do you think we feel? We only, as a company, we only grow if your account goes up. We have no fees that are like, oh, it's $100 to talk to us and thousands of dollars for a plan. We literally only make money if your account goes up. We can't grow. So I don't want that. How do you think I feel? Everybody here at Jazz, I don't want to see a blip on the screen just as much as you do. But I think a lot of people respect the fact that I'm going to stop you if you call and say, I think we should do this. You better have a good reason to do it. And I'm not talking because I feel like the market's going to do this or that, or I just want to wait it out. No, We'll boil it all down to your plan. What do you need to do? Can you afford to do this? Which brings me to my last point. I do believe in timing the market. Go ahead and leave your comments now. On an individual basis, you can absolutely time the market. And I do not mean get in, get out, get in, get out. I mean time the level of risk that you take. And let me give you an example. So I have clients that are in their 50s, and that's a sweet spot for me where I start paying real attention to the individual. I don't need you doing something silly now, right? Don't go buy a Porsche. You didn't do it so far. But I have so many clients that right now they can afford to take less risk. They're being more aggressive than they need to be, and I can show them that their plan, everything that they want to do is gonna work. But now is not the time to slow down. The markets are lower, right? We want to slow down or time the market on the way up and say, hey, you could already afford to take less risk. Let's do it while the getting's good. You don't have to bother messing around now. We'll wait till the markets rally. That's what I mean by timing the market. I've shared the stats with you about if you were to pick a stock randomly, what are your odds of success over the course of a minute, 5 minutes, 60 minutes, half a day, full day, 2 days, 5 days, a week, right? Or 2 weeks, and going on from there. Just to show you where your odds lie. And it's not impossible, but it is rather difficult to trade on a shorter time period. It's the exact opposite of golf. If you have a 1 foot putt, you're going to make it most of the time. 2 foot, probably most of the time. 5 feet, what do you think, right? Like, I'm not going to make them all the time. I don't really play a lot. But the further you get out, the harder it is to obviously get close. It's the exact opposite in the stock market. The shorter you want to participate, I'm not against it. I think it's a lot of fun, those of you that want to day trade. But just realize that it's an uphill battle, right? You have a 52% chance of being correct. That's it, right? So 2% better than a coin flip. I've seen people do it. I've taught classes and everything. I can help with all of that stuff, but it's tough. So put all of that together and realize that I'm sorry, I said enough keywords that if you're still watching, you're going to start seeing videos that say bear market, recession looming, doom and gloom, Robert Kiyosaki, right? Okay, right. There's room for that kind of stuff in the world, but how does it fit to what you're doing? If you need your money in 2 years, you have a different path that you're going down than somebody that's got 20. You've obviously also been through the roller coaster. You laugh at the kids that say, I'm getting out of the market, right? But I think you could probably leave a comment or something that would help the younger generation by saying, listen, in 87, I did this or that. It cost me 10%, right? I've been fighting to get it back ever since. During the dot-com bust, I thought that was it. Computers were going to ruin everybody's life. I did this or that, and it cost me whatever it cost you. So I plead with you, think like Warren Buffett. Use the example. I've said it so many times. Where does Warren Buffett go when the market falls? He's always on TV. He's happy to give interviews. You just call his office, schedule something. As long as the market is quiet and trending higher. But when the market is moving lower, that man disappears. Gone. Like he's at work. He's doing what he needs to do. It's a fascinating study because you'll notice that on Fox Business and CNBC and Bloomberg and all these companies, they can normally get Bill Ackman to come on, at least by phone, right? Mark Cuban is not really an example in our industry, but obviously it's somebody. You got Warren Buffett there. What's her name on CNBC is always doing interviews with him and stuff. When the market's chaotic, they're all gone. It's all people like me. It costs money to be on CNBC. That's why you don't see me on CNBC. But it's the other people, the advisors telling you, please don't take your money out of the market. The big guys go shopping. Train your brain, especially if you got a long way to go. Train your brain. Get into it. Use fear as your opportunity. If the market goes to zero, nobody's going to blame you. We're all going to be figuring out other stuff. That's like total bunker talk right there, right? We're all going to be running away from each other and holding campfires and stuff just to listen to each other cry. So what's there to be scared of dips in the market? All right, that's all I got there for you today. We'll pick it up again tomorrow. Also, remember the closing beat. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. It's a live stock market update show. I always try to teach something new as well. So I don't want to just say, this stock went up, this stock went down. What do we have to learn from it? What is there that we can analyze and take a look at so that it's just not some other, stock picking type stuff? Not my deal. And as always, of course, check us out at jazzwealth.com. I have had nothing here to sip out of this glass, so I've got some homework to do. All right, adios. We'll see you soon.